From high atop Red Mountain, Vulcan, the mythical god of the forge, has overseen many changes in the city of Birmingham and the valley down below. The post-Civil War town in north-central Alabama that was built on pig iron and steel that made it the manufacturing center of the South has made a miraculous transformation. This is Birmingham today, the shining star of the New South, where 85% of the area's jobs are non-manufacturing, led by the health services industry, by telecommunications and engineering. The roar of what used to be the sounds of 685 mines, factories, and furnaces has been replaced by a new sound in Dixie. The thundering sound of thoroughbred racing as Budweiser Racing Across America brings you to the nation's newest major thoroughbred racing facility, the Birmingham Turf Club. And today is the biggest and richest day of racing the Deep South has ever seen. Budweiser Racing Across America. Today, live from the Birmingham Turf Club, it's the inaugural running of the Alabama Derby. This ESPN sports presentation is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age, for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, this Bud's for you. By the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, assuring the highest racing standards. The new Birmingham Turf Club is a TRA member. By Stetson, America's original cowboy hat, except no substitutes. By the Birmingham Chamber of Commerce, your host in America's Magic City. And by Mana Pro, the calf Mana people. Stay tuned next for Alabama's first Derby from the Turf Club in Birmingham. Welcome to Birmingham and to the nation's newest thoroughbred racetrack. And today is Alabama's first Derby day, just 3 weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln as we welcome you to Birmingham, Alabama, and to this big day of racing here in the South. And along with us today will be, of course, our experts on thoroughbred racing, Dave Johnson and Charles C. Canty. Before we meet them, let's give you the conditions of racing today for the Derby. It'll be at a distance of 1.1 miles further than any thoroughbred has ever run on the new mile track here. It's $350,000 guaranteed for 3-year-olds. And what a big day it is here in Alabama. The biggest crowd they've ever had here at the Turf Club, upwards of 20,000. They'll go over $1 million in handle for the first time at the new track. Now let's meet the field that will run in Alabama's historic first Derby. We'll go behind the stands to the paddock to Dave Johnson and Charles C. Canty.
Well, it seems like every spring for the last several years, a new road to the Triple Crown is opened. And here we are in '87, and the new, rich, shiny route is the Alabama Derby.
Well, you know, Dave, in the past, the traditional routes to the Derby were pretty cut and dried. You could go through New York, you could go through Florida, or you could go through California. But now there's a lot of money in these prep races and events like the Jim Beam and the Arkansas Derby, and now this Alabama Derby. And in fact, there were more nominees to this prep race than to any other Triple Crown prep race.
And how the 12 do this afternoon, well, that's going to determine whether some of them get a ticket to the land of the Bluegrass 3 Saturdays from today. Let's take a look at the full field of 12, the jockey assignments, and in post position order.
We come up with Fast Forward at the rail with Randy Romero starting at 4-1. Authentic Hero with Larry Melanson starts at 6. Fast Delivery with Russell Bays at 10. Rapid Ray with Donnie Howard at 20. Number 5 is General Silver. Garth Patterson rides in 20-1. Arab Speaker with Jose Ferrer is 20-1. Number 7 Phantom Jet with Keith Allen 5-2, the starting warning line favorite. Mom's Ferrari starts at 15 with Richard Atkins. Number 9 Lost Code with Gene St. Leon at 8. Home Builder with Donnie Brumfield at 5. The Real Truth starts at 20, and 20 is the price on Passing Ships with Frank Lovato Jr. The Derby Festival here in Birmingham is certainly a happy and an upbeat time, but there is sadness around the Phil Gleaves barn and in the camp of the Alabama Derby choice. Charlesy has the story.
The Alabama Derby favorite, Phantom Jet, races in the name of the Aisco stable, founded by Abraham I. Butch Savin, and now run by his grandson Scott. Butch Savin was 85 when he died last Monday, leaving memories of 3 decades of excellence in thoroughbred racing. There were many fine horses, the best of which was Mr. Prospector, purchased by Savin as a yearling for $220,000. Brilliant on the racetrack, Mr. Prospector has been even more brilliant at stud. And right now, Mr. Prospector has a value somewhere between $35 and $40 million. Mr. Prospector's offspring include the champion filly, It's in the Air, champion sprinter, Elo, and 3-year-old champion and horse of the year, Conquistador Cielo. Mr. Prospector is represented in this year's 3-year-old crop by Gulch, Gone West, and Homebuilder. And quite fittingly, he is the grandsire of Phantom Jet, who races in the ASCO colors today.
Welcome back to this, the newest expression of America's long love affair with the thoroughbred, the Birmingham Turf Club. And if you were here, you'd see that the growth of our sport continues in dramatic, crowd-pleasing fashion. And in order for it to grow, especially in an area that hasn't had racing, well, there's a certain amount of time needed for the industry itself to become aware of this magnificent facility and support it, and for the local patrons to find their way around. Remember the first time that you went to a racetrack? Well, we thought you'd enjoy a tour of the new Birmingham facility and enjoy a few of the stories about the arrival of the thoroughbred in Birmingham.
It looks like a castle from a fantasy land. The Birmingham Turf Club, an $85 million project that became a reality after the bill passed the state legislature by 1 vote in its second attempt and became the law of Alabama in April of 1984. Ground was broken in the late summer of '85, and some 18 months later, the dream of thoroughbred racing fans in the Deep South became a reality. Opening day was March 3rd, 1987. The facility is spectacular in bright colors like peacock blue, cranberry, and butterscotch, with a variety of concessions, dining rooms, a private club, and corporate luxury skyboxes. For the horsemen, a 16-stall paddock and walking ring area, a mile dirt track with a racing surface that has drawn rave reviews, and an inside 7-furlong turf course being ready for racing this fall. The barn area has stabling for 1,200 horses, with 300 more stalls already under construction. Today's Alabama Derby marks the 30th day of racing at the new track. And as with any new venture, there has been a need for changes. At times, they've been painful. A reduction in the number of races, cutting the purses, and an addition of more exotic wagers. Track consultant Bill Killingsworth.
I think one of the marketing errors that was made here was starting off with a fairly traditional approach to the wagering. We didn't have the 2- and 3-horse type bets that the public really likes, where you get big payoffs. So last week, we introduced the Quinella and the Trifecta.
Despite daily attendance figures under 7,000, a handle of just over 438,000, and a low per capita of around $63, Chairman of the board, Judy Thompson, remains optimistic.
2 things that have really made me very confident is, number one, I think we have the best management team in the country. They're young and aggressive and bright and enthusiastic. And the other thing is that our bankers are perfectly confident. So that's helped me a lot.
Tom Finch, head of sales, is still working on targeting this new market for racing.
Well, we really cover the entire southeast region. It's a regional racetrack, if you will, and that we really reach out and we are marketing for the customers in the metropolitan Atlanta area, as well as Nashville, Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and even as far as Jackson, Mississippi. We're really drawing from all of those areas, and that's why I really think the Turf Club's going to work.
And teaching the new fans about pari-mutuel wagering has been both educational and entertaining.
Well, had an incident last night where a customer comes up and had a little problem with the daily double, wanted to bet just the second half of the daily double.
Even simulcasting a race from another track can be interesting.
Last Saturday was the first time we raced in the daytime. We simulcast the Florida Derby. When they announced the Florida Derby is 10 minutes to post time, the people, they go back to the paddock to see the horses, see Angel Cordero when the horse is being saddled. And of course, these horses are in Florida, and there's nobody in the paddock.
But the spirit of the Turf Club is the same spirit that has earned Birmingham its nickname as the Magic City.
I wanna go right back where I belong, way down south in Birmingham, I mean south in Alabama. There's a place where people go, they go to dance the night away. Some of them walk, some
Oh, I'll tell you, they have some sold out here in the South, and what great hospitality. I want to thank everyone at the Birmingham Turf Club. Been so nice to us. To Stuart Dansby of the Chamber of Commerce at Birmingham, who showed us around this spectacular city. Thanks to Laura Washington singing the songs there, and also some people out at Grundy's, who were our hosts the other night. Had a great time out there with all of them. Also, Jerry Garnoffer, who not only was the host, but also played the piano there for us. And to Sandy Jaffe, our thanks to her for some of our historic photos for her feature of Birmingham, the magic of jazz. Well, let's take a look at some of the beautiful dogwoods that are in bloom here around Birmingham. As we take a break, we'll return in a moment.
I wanna go right back with.
Thoroughbred horses account for fortunes won and fortunes bid, for records broken and odds beaten. One thing that makes this sport count for me is the money it can generate in the pocket of the $2 bettor or the $1 million investor. But there's a romance to it too. Powerful horses and strong-willed people, contests of might and endurance and intelligence. The Thoroughbred record covers it all beautifully. Each month, the Thoroughbred record brings you all the color and excitement of racing, along with insight into the business of thoroughbreds, the bloodlines and statistics that have made horsemen count on the Thoroughbred record since 1875. This will count for you, just $34.95 for a 12-month subscription, a full 50% off the cover price. Call 1-800-247-2160 and receive free the Sire Book, a $25 value. 1-800-247-2160. If thoroughbred horses count to you, you can count on the Thoroughbred record.
The fans are starting to gather in the paddock for the first running of the Alabama Derby, and there is our favorite Phantom Jet as he appears on the screen. Philip Gleaves, a young trainer, along there with him. You know, Phantom Jet has already made a bit of history here in Alabama as he became the very first thoroughbred to ever fly into the Birmingham airport for a race. He came in on Friday afternoon, or Friday morning we should say, and it was a media event out at the Birmingham airport as Ace-Co stable Phantom Jet, the favorite for today's Derby, leading money earner at over $250,000, been racing in Florida all year, made the trip up from Florida to fly in for this event, and it was, as mentioned, quite an event at the Birmingham airport. Another bit of history for this Birmingham Turf Club. It's also been very exciting for the folks here to have Hall of Fame trainer Woody Stevens along with his former protege Philip Gleaves. We again go to our teacher and student, I guess you'd say. Gleaves worked for Woody for some 8 years. Dave Johnson is in the paddock area now to talk to Woody and Phil.
Last year on the road to the Triple Crown, well, it was Wise Times, trained by Phil Gleaves, and a lot of 3-year-olds, including Danzig Connection, who won the 5th Belmont for Woody Stevens. You're back on the road again this year with some good horses. Phil, tell us about your charge.
My colt David has done awful well this winter. He was third in the Everglades behind Cryptic Prince, probably the best 3-year-old based in Florida this winter. Since then, he won the Sam Davis and the Tampa Bay Derby. And I haven't run him since the Tampa Bay Derby. It's been about a month now, but he's not the kind of colt that needs a lot of racing back-to-back, and I'm looking forward to it this afternoon.
Woody Stevens looking for his 6th Belmont this year. It might be Home Builder, it might be Gone West or one of the other ones, but what about Home Builder, who's in today's race?
He's been very consistent, running real good races for me. He hasn't won them all, but he's been right there all the time, and he's just been a nice, solid, sound little fella, and I do expect a good race from him today.
They faced each other the last time in the Tampa Bay Derby, and as we take a look at the stretch drive, Phil, it was a big afternoon for you.
It was, yeah. My colt really got to his horses pretty easily, come to the 3/8 pole, and drew away from Woody's colt late. Woody's colt ran a big race on the lead all the way, a fast pace, and I think the main competition for Phantom Jet will come again from Home Builder today.
But you have decided not to run Phantom Jet since that race. Why?
Again, I just, I've kind of devoted myself to bringing this colt and future colts to the Derby with as little racing as possible, but I don't want to overdo it coming up to the Derby. I just thought this was a perfect spot, ideal, a month after my last race, 3 weeks to the Kentucky Derby. I just felt that this was the place to come, plus the $350,000.
But Woody, you did send your horse to Kentucky for the Jim Beam. He finished third.
Well, that $500,000 could send you a lot of places, and he ran a respectable race. He broke in and got in a little trouble leaving the gate, but he was third, and he seemed to come out of the race real good, so then I thought I'd come to Alabama.
You worked for him for how long?
8 years.
Was he a good student?
Best.
The best of luck to both of you. Phil Gleaves and Woody Stevens.
Thank you, Dave. We're going to take a look now at the odds as they're reflected by the betting public here for the first time today at the Birmingham Turf Club, and here it is. Fast Forward is 2-1. Authentic Hero 12-1. Fast Delivery 21-1. Rapid Race 70-1. General Silver at 17. Arab Speaker at 25. Looking at the final 6, Phantom Jet, look at this, 9-5. He is the favorite right now. Mom's Ferrari at 25-1. Lost Code and Home Builder, Woody Stevens Home Builder at 6-1. The Real Truth is 24-1. And Passing Ships, the 12 horse, is 60-1. When we come back, we'll have another look at a Breeders' Cup Championship moment. Listen again to one of the famous songs of Birmingham, Tuxedo Junction.
Birmingham.
Well, one of the strong favorites here this afternoon is Fast Forward, and Jeff Lucas is here to saddle him. And Jeff, this colt was not a really precocious 2-year-old, but he seems to really be developing it through.
Well, he's a big, strong colt, almost 17 hands, and he seems to get better every time he runs. He's had a good program at Hot Springs, Arkansas. He's run some very good races to some very good horses there, and he's been competitive in all his races. He seems to be getting better, and this will be a good test for him today.
He ran a big race, actually, last time out in the Rebel Handicap 2 weeks ago, and he was second to Demons Be Gone, but he had a good lead and ran a big race.
We were very pleased with his race. He ran well that day. Demons Be Gone, one of the favorites for the Kentucky Derby right now, and our horse ran very well. He was competitive, and we were really pleased. We thought it was a positive effort, and therefore we're here today, looking forward to a better race today, and hopefully we'll get lucky.
Mixed emotions about number 1 post?
Not at all. With a large field, this horse has speed. I think it could work to our advantage if we get away and just make that first turn quick.
Good. Good luck, Jeff. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Chris?
Well, thank you, Charlie. It's already been, I guess you could say, a Lucas day. We have results from the Lexington Stakes, also the Bull Ruler up at Aqueduct in New York, and Lucas has won both of them. War won the Lexington Stakes. Look at the price it paid, $35, covering the 1 1/8 in the $100,000 race in 1:44.2. Candy's Goal was second. Momentous was third. The big favorite, JT's Pet, finished fourth, 15 lengths behind the winner. War, trained by D. Wayne Lucas, wins the Lexington Stakes. Also today, his great filly Pine Tree Lane won the Bull Ruler at Aqueduct, going the 6 furlongs in 1:09. So the 2 big races on the card today have been won by D. Wayne Lucas horses. What about next week? Well, we're going to be at Oaklawn Park, Hot Springs, Arkansas, the 51st running of the Arkansas Derby, and we're really looking forward to that because for the first time the nation will get a look at the horse that is favored to win the Kentucky Derby in the future book. Demons Be Gone, who won the Rebel a week ago, and if he should win the Arkansas Derby and then go on to Kentucky and win the Derby, he would be in line for Oaklawn's $1 million bonus. The excitement is already underway at Oaklawn. Their Racing Festival of the South starts today with the Fantasy Stakes. It's a stake a day, big money purses all week. We'll be there to bring it to you next Saturday, live on ESPN, 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern Time for the Arkansas Derby from Oaklawn. Now let's look at another great moment in horse racing history from the Breeders' Cup Championship moment as we join Dave Johnson.
Lately, we've been concentrating on the 3-year-old picture. But in the fall of the year, all the ages, all the divisions are showcased in a magnificent competitive day known as the Breeders' Cup. Right now, here's another Breeders' Cup Championship moment.
The San Gabriel Mountains and Santa Anita Park provided a majestic setting for racing's regal lady. From start to finish, Lady Secret staged a Horse of the Year performance in the $1 million Breeders' Cup Distaff. But it is Lady Secret who puts it in another gear as they turn for home. Lady Secret, another flawless performance. For Lady Secret, this crowd-pleasing victory was her Breeders' Cup Championship moment.
Now they're warming up in the paddock here for the very first Alabama Derby. It is the 8th race on the 10-race program here today. Take a look at the fans here as they look over these thoroughbreds. They expect, again, the biggest crowd they've had in the 30 days of racing to this point at the Birmingham Turf Club, close to 20,000. And they're going to bet probably over $1 million today for the first time at the Turf Club. And now with a message from the Thoroughbred Racing Associations and their newest member, we're very happy to have with us the president of the Birmingham Turf Club, Austin Brown, with a message from the TRA about racing we think you'll enjoy. Listen up.
In thoroughbred racing, it isn't only winning, but it's honesty and integrity that count. And that's why we here at the Birmingham Turf Club are so proud to be members of the Thoroughbred Racing Association. Ourselves, along with over 50 of the finest tracks in the United States and Canada, make up the membership of the TRA. And through that membership, we are able to avail ourselves of the TRPB for our security. The TRPB is to racing what the FBI is to this entire country. Thoroughbred racing is the best police sport in the world, thanks mainly to the TRPB. Back in 1948, the Thoroughbred Racing Association decided it needed better security to its tracks. So it went to the FBI and to J. Edgar Hoover and asked for their assistance. Mr. Hoover obliged the TRA by providing them with one of his top agents to take over this security force. For 40 years, this force has been protecting the integrity and the honesty of racing in the United States. That's why we're so proud here in Birmingham to be members of the TRA. The TRA, it's a winner.
Thank you, Austin. As you take another look at the Magic City of Birmingham, the riders are up. They'll be coming to the track. We'll be back with a post parade for Alabama's first Derby next.
In every one of our stops in racing across America, there's a local favorite, and the one today is Lost Code, and this is his trainer, Bill Donovan. And Bill, you said this colt has been real backward all his life.
Just a big, growthy colt, you know. Just an immature individual that all of a sudden he fired.
2 weeks ago today, right here at Birmingham, he got his act together in the Hoop Junior, and he beat a good field.
He really did. He beat Balsky Star, who won the Tropical Park Derby. I was really surprised, Charles.
We have to point out that this was his first start on Lasix. You found that he had bled in his previous start, and it obviously made a difference in his performance.
Right. We suspected it before, but being a 2-year-old, we couldn't use it on him, so we really couldn't until we got here. We ran him. He bled, put him on the medication, he fired.
Lasix being a diuretic, which lowers the horse's blood pressure and prevents them from internally hemorrhaging, and it often makes a great difference in this horse's performance. Now, you've got a wife who does the handicapping show here at Birmingham. Now, does she have to pick her words real carefully when she's talking about Lost Code?
No, this is a favorite of ours. She talks openly about him. She loves him, you know. This has been a big moment for us, really.
Is to speak very highly to keep the domestic afloat.
She's a great friend, much less being a good wife. Boy, we all love the game.
Well, it'll be wonderful to see how Lost Code performs this afternoon, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Chelsea.
All right. Very good. Chris, we'll go out front to you now.
Thank you, Chelsea. We're going to take a quick look at the odds. Fast forward is at 2-1, 12-1 for Authentic Hero, 18-1 General Silver. A quick change will give you a look at the second 6 here. Phantom Jet is still the favorite, 8-5. And Lost Code, Bill Donovan's horse, is 6-1. Donna will like that, as is Woody Stevens' home builder, the 10 horse, at 6-1. There's an update on the odds as the horses now get ready to set foot on the track for the first Alabama Derby. Let's go to Dave Johnson and our post parade.
And Chris, we start with number 1, Fast Forward, a $610,000 yearling purchase at the Keeneland September sale. A half-brother to Kentucky Oaks winner Lucky Lucky Lucky. Drew the favorable inside post. And for a colt of his running style, likes to be on the lead. Figures to be saving ground. 29-year-old Randy Romero, a great comeback story in sports. He nearly died in a fire 3 years ago. That's Frank Lovato, but Frank is on a different horse. Randy Romero rides Fast Forward. Here's number 2, Authentic Hero, a $30,000 Keeneland September yearling purchase. That little gavel in the K, signifying a Keeneland horse here. He's won 4 of 11 starts. All have been at the fairgrounds in New Orleans. Second to JT's Pet in his last start, the Louisiana Derby. The jockey is Larry Melanson, who's no stranger to good 3-year-olds. He rode Bachelor Beau to victory in last year's Bluegrass Stakes. Number 3 is Fast Delivery, the only California bred in the Alabama Derby field. A $87,000 sales-topping yearling from the 85 Del Mar yearling sale. Large colt, Fast Delivery, is 16.2 hands high, a second a masterful advocate in the El Camino Real Derby. First time Lasix today, and jockey Russell Bays, perennially the leading rider of all the California race meetings, is aboard. Rapid Ray is the 4-horse, a real outsider, an Oklahoma bred who's been facing Demons Be Gone and Fast Forward in Arkansas with little success. Best races sprinting. We'll see how he does at a distance. And Donnie Howard, 26-year-old from Fort Collins, Colorado, who rode thoroughbreds in his high school. He was apprentice in his junior year and a journeyman in his senior year. Donnie Howard aboard. Number 5 is General Silver, touted as a top horse even before his first start. Reportedly, his owners were looking to sell the colt for about $200,000 based on a sensational workout at Calder last fall. He made his career debut at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs, finished second, stretched it out a sloppy track distance. He won and then faced winners and proved best again. The jockey is Garth Patterson, known around the jocks room as Deputy Dog because of his droll sense of humor. An outstanding apprentice from the mid-60s. He's flown in from Oaklawn for today's assignment. Here's number 6, Arab Speaker. He won his last race impressively March 27th
7th at Gulfstream should be close to the pace. Best races have been on or near the lead, and the jockey today is Jose C. Ferrar, 23-year-old native of Puerto Rico, who's flown in from the East Coast for today's assignment. Thanks to the Daily Racing Farm for all the statistics that we use on our broadcast. And now here's the favorite, Phantom Jet, who's won more races, 6, and more money, over $250,000 than any of the other Alabama Derby starters. Phantom Jet has won 3 of 4 starts this year. His only defeat came when he wound up 3rd in the Everglades behind Crypto Clearance, and the jockey is Keith Allen, undefeated aboard Phantom Jet. He's been aboard for his last 2 starts. Mom's Ferrari is the 8, a son of ex-elocutionist. 2nd to Crypto Clearance in the Everglades. This horse was probably best on a sloppy track. They were looking for a little rain. They didn't get it. Jockey Richard Atkins, who rides exclusively for Glenn Wismer, is in the saddle this afternoon wearing the colorful stripes there. Number 9 is the local favorite, Lost Code. Comes into this Alabama Derby off an impressive 7-length victory in the Hoop Junior, $73,000 purchase at the Ocala Breeders' yearling sale. Raced on Lasix for the first time last out, and the jockey is Gene St. Leon. He's already won 2 races this afternoon. He leads the jockey ranks here, and you might know his 9-year-old son, Ryan, who plays Don Johnson's son on Miami Vice. The 10 horse is Home Builder, who's earned over 154 grand, has improved with distance in 4 dirt races around 2 turns. Home Builder has never failed to pick up a check. And the jockey is Don Brumfield, the all-time leading rider at Churchill Downs and Keeneland, still going strong. He won the Kentucky Derby in '66 on Cowie King. He rode his first victory for his dad at Monmouth Park. Number 11 is The Real Truth, not nominated to the Triple Crown for the original closing deadline. His connections thought enough to pay $3,000 late nomination fee to make him eligible. Purchased for $250,000 out of the Darby Dan stable reduction. Antonio Grael got this mount only 2 days ago. He's currently riding an Aqueduct and came in for the mount this morning. Passing Ships completes the field. The 3-year-old colt by 5th Marine was a sprint winner here on March the 7th, and he's ridden this afternoon by 24-year-old Marylander Frank Lovato Jr. A fine dozen 3-year-olds in the Alabama Derby, Chris.
That they are, Dave. A dozen ready to run in Dixie here, the first Alabama Derby. And as we take a quick look at the odds board, it is still Phantom Jet, the 8-5 favorite, with Lucas's Fast Forward at 5-2. We'll take a 1-minute break with the Bud Longshot.
Right back where I belong.
Just about 5 minutes away from the running of this first Alabama Derby here at the Birmingham Turf Club. And we're going to take a look at our Budweiser Longshot coming up. We've told you about the favorites, of course. Phantom Jet, the 7 horse at 9-5. Fast Forward, the D. Wayne Lucas trained horse at 2-1. What about a horse, though, that could pay a price? Well, let's take a look at it. The fans are gathered to hear today's pick for the Budweiser Longshot.
Today's Budweiser Longshot is Fast Delivery, a lightly raced son of Flying Paster. Fast Delivery has been first or second in 4 of his 5 lifetime starts. Here's Fast Delivery in only his 3rd career outing, winning the California Breeders' Champion Stakes at Santa Anita. A fast closing finish is Fast Delivery's specialty, and here his move is timed to perfection. Fast Delivery had been off for almost 2 months when he made his last start in the Jim Beam Stakes. While he failed to fire in the Beam, look for a much improved effort today as Fast Delivery looks to earn his ticket to Kentucky and another Derby 3 weeks from today. That's Fast Delivery, today's Budweiser Longshot.
Well, the 3-horse Fast Delivery opened at 10-1, and the people here have bet him up to 21-1. So he's not the favorite out here, but they love him in the truck. Isn't that right, guys? The Longshot Fast Delivery. Charles, we talk about this racing surface. The horsemen are very complimentary about the surface itself, but the times indicate it's a slow track right now.
Very far off. In fact, the track record here for a mile is 1:37 4/5. The race previous to this was a stakes race for colts. They ran a mile, going a mile and a 16th. They ran a mile in 1:39 2. 2 other races at a flat mile today were run in 1:40 plus. So do not look for a very speedy time, but it's a good, safe surface.
The horses have never been a mile and an eighth on this track right now, so that's going to be something there. Also, Fast Forward, looking at the board, is still 5-2, the D. Wayne Lucas trained horse. We had a chance earlier to talk to Randy Romero about the favorable rail position for Fast Forward today.
Yeah, he's coming out of 1 hole. He's got a lot of speed, and he carries him, and we're just hoping to be a winner today.
You know the horse from last year?
Yeah, broke his maiden up in New York, and he come back and he was 4th. And after I look at the form, he's improved a whole bunch. He was second to a horse that's going to be one of the favorites for the Derby, Demons Be Gone. And we're hoping for the best today.
Randy Romero, courageous young rider. There, of course, it is the famed white bridle of the D. Wayne Lucas Racing Stable. We told you earlier today they won the Lexington Stakes at Keeneland with War, and they also won up at Aqueduct in the Bold Ruler with Pine Tree Lane, so they've already had a big day. That's one of the favorites. Charles, you have an interesting story about the outside horse now, the 12 horse.
Yes, Passing Ships is trained by an old friend of mine, Allison Register, and she happens to be engaged to marry Bobby Reinecker, who is the trainer for Green Tree Stables. And I had to kind of smile when I saw Bobby standing in the paddock with his hands in his pocket. It was a real switch for him to be holding her binoculars while she tacked the horse.
I tell you, it really has been a great atmosphere around here. We have another jockey on Woody Stevens' horse today, Home Builder. We had a chance to talk earlier with Don to get some of his comments about Home Builder, a horse that hasn't lived up quite to his potential as yet.
Well, he kind of broke into the inside when he left the gate, and speed and the inside rail was important that day at that racetrack. And I couldn't make the lead, so I just got him over to the fence and stayed on the fence. And he run a good race, come on good the last part of it. He wasn't gaining a whole lot on the first 2 horses, but he did make a good run.
Well, the folks love Phantom Jet, still at 8-5 here. And Chelsea, it's been very clear from the connections of Phantom Jet, this is an important race for this colt. This may decide whether he'll get the trip to Kentucky.
Well, Phil Gleaves made it very clear that if he does not run very well today, he won't be going to Kentucky, and I'm sure that's true for most every one of the logical Kentucky choices right now. That if they don't perform today, there's simply no point in going any further. And there's Home Builder. He's a colt who's run 11 times. He won 1 race, and he's been on the board 10 times.
I think so. You know, it's amazing because you think of the Woody Stevens stable, and then, of course, there's Gone West, who won the Gotham Conquista Rose, Conquilot. Where does Home Builder figure in?
Well, he's obviously not running up to his potential, and if he gets his act together, he'll be a factor later on. There goes Fast Forward a little reluctantly into the gate. He is a gorgeously handsome colt, but then Wayne Lucas doesn't have any uglies in his barn. The next horse, Authentic Hero, they almost look like mare and foal in the paddock. Fast Forward and Authentic Hero. Fast Forward, a very big, strong horse. Authentic Hero, a little guy, but tough. He was second to JT's Pet in the Louisiana Derby, and he likes to try.
$300,000 Keelan Yearling purchase. Next to him, Fast Forward, of course, was a $610,000 Keelan Yearling purchase.
And then maybe they were paying by the ounce.
They continue to load them up here for the Alabama Derby. 12 will run, again, 1 1/8 miles. They've never been this distance before, so obviously we will set not only a stakes record for the inaugural running, but also set a track record. They seem very well behaved, these 3-year-olds.
Oh, yes. They've had enough racing under their belts now, and they all load in very quietly here. They're breaking down at the 8th foal. This is a 1-mile track, so there's quite a good straightaway into the turn for everyone to get into position.
Here comes Phantom Jet, Chelsea. 7 horse of Phil Gleaves, the red colors going in now.
His only loss this year was on an off track in the Everglades to Crypto Clearance.
And Phantom Jet is the 3-2 favorite now. Now they start loading up the outside horses. In comes Lost Code, the local favorite of Bill Donovan. And Lost Code now, the 9 horse, is at 7-1. Let's go to the top of the stands. One of the fine young race callers in America, the voice of the Birmingham Turf Club, Larry Comas, to call the first Alabama Derby. Larry?
Thank you, Chris. We still have 2 more horses to go in. There goes number 11, The Real Truth, into the gate. 1 more, number 12, Passing Ships, to go into the gate for the Derby, and we'll be ready to go. There you see him, number 12, Passing Ships, going into the starting gate. They're all in line. They're off in the inaugural running of the Alabama Derby. From the outside, Rapid Ray is going to the front, joined quickly on the far outside by Home Builder. And now Don Brumfield sends Home Builder to the front end by a length. Rapid Ray races second, Fast Forward sent through along the rail in third. Then comes General Silver on the outside in fourth. Lost Code is next, 2 lengths further back to Fast Delivery. Phantom Jet is 5 lengths off the lead at this point. Then comes Mom's Ferrari. Arab Speaker is next at the rail. Then Passing Ships, right there from between horses, The Real Truth. The early trailer at this point is Authentic Hero. They went the first quarter in a very fast 23-1, and they're racing up the backstretch. Home Builder has the lead by a half length. Gene St. Leon now sends Lost Code right up to challenge the leader, and there goes Lost Code now to the front end by 3 parts of a length. Home Builder is back into second by a length. Randy Romero has a nice hold of Fast Forward, racing in third. It's 2.5 lengths further back to General Silver. Rapid Ray is next. Phantom Jet still has 6 lengths to make up at this point. Then comes Arab Speaker and Mom's Ferrari. Passing Ships is next, Authentic Hero. Then Fast Delivery, and the trailer is The Real Truth. 47-1 for the half, 111-2 for 3/4, and Lost Code. The winner of the Hoop Junior Stakes is in command at this point by 2.5 lengths. In the second spot is Home Builder. Fast Forward races in third. There's Phantom Jet on the outside in fourth. He still has 5 lengths to make up. They're in the stretch. It's Lost Code in command, leading it by 2. Home Builder races in second. Phantom Jet not going to get there on the outside. They race inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Lost Code still on the front end. Home Builder tries to chase him down, but it's Lost Code to win the Alabama Derby. There it is. Lost Code wins the Derby. It looked like Home Builder was second, finishing third, Phantom Jet. The running time for the 1 1/8, 1 minute 51 and 3/5 seconds. Back to you, Chris Lincoln.
All right, thank you, Larry. Chelsea Kenny was wolfing it up there. Chelsea saw the movie Hoosiers the other day at a theater here in Birmingham, and you talk about the small hometown school against the legends, against the big horses that shipped in, and it was Lost Code, number 9, the horse that went off at 7-1, the hometown horse. Chelsea, what hospitality is this to the South?
That's the kind of story that does your heart good. This little fella really ran hard, and as he had run his last start on Lasix, he ran again, and obviously it makes a difference to him. The bleeding was a problem, but obviously no more.
Lost Code was first, Home Builder was second. It looked to me like Phantom Jet got up the 7-horse for third. It's unofficial still, but the local favorite, the Hoosier of Alabama, has won the Alabama Derby. We'll be back in a moment.
I wanna go right back where I belong.
There he is, Lost Code, the local horse, the winner of the Hoop Junior. When he was first time on Lasix, this is his second time running on Lasix, and my, what a dramatic improvement it made in this brown colt, the son of Codex, out of the Ack mare Loss or Gain, trained by the local man Bill Donovan for the Wendover stables of Don Levinson. He is a former Maryland race commissioner. Jean St. Leon is the rider, for, of course, the former Eclipse winner as an apprentice rider. He had a 7-length win in the Hoop Junior. I'm sure it was kind of overlooked by a lot of the big guns coming in here, the big-name horses like Home Builder of Woody Stevens, who, by the way, finished second. The favorite, the 7-horse at 8-5, Phantom Jet of Phil Gleaves, looking for a trip to the Kentucky Derby. He finishes in third. And D. Wayne Lucas's Fast Forward finishes fourth. 9-10-7-1 on the board. And listen to the Alabama fans as they cheer their hometown. Well, I've heard many times in Birmingham, it is tough to beat Bama at home. And I guess we've found that true in horse racing as well. As the local favorite, Lost Code, who coming into this race had 10 starts, 3 firsts, 2 seconds, $41,000 in earnings. And today, Lost Code is going to cash a check at the Alabama Derby of $210,000. Certainly by far the biggest of his career. He was 8-1 on the morning line, and Lost Code went off here with the local favorites at 7-1 as they whoop it up and cheer for him here. Lost Code bred in Florida. Again, the son of Codex. And they're some kind of excited here in Birmingham. We're going to take a look at the replay when we come back. Also give you a rundown of the complete order of finish. Right now, let's take a break from Birmingham. The local horse, Lost Code, the winner of the Derby. Welcome back to the Birmingham Turf Club. You see the winner's circle down below, and Lost Code in 151-3. The local horse has won the first Alabama Derby. Home Builder was second. Phantom Jet was third. A quick look at the fractions for you, and then we'll look at the price as well. They have just made it official here, and they've made the local folks happy who supported their local horse. Lost Code pays $17.60. 10-horse Home Builder, $580 and $360. Phantom Jet returns $320. Let's go now to Dave Johnson for a closer look at the Alabama Derby. Dave?
This is the scene of the first turn. The eventual winner was third on the outside, easy to follow with the white bridle and the pink cap. Home Builder, who was on the lead at this point, number 10, will eventually finish second. Fast Forward between those two, drops out of it. Turning for home, St. Leon with a right-handed whip switches it to the left side, and here comes Home Builder charging up on the outside. The others are far back. It's going to be a 2-horse race for the wire. St. Leon with strong left-handed whipping. He's not fooling around. He's going to switch the stick to the right hand. The colt responds. Brumfield trying desperately to close with Home Builder. Doesn't make it. St. Leon, his third winner of the afternoon, and a big win in the Alabama Derby.
Now in the winner's circle presentation, Mr. and Mrs. Austin Brown, the president of the Birmingham Turf Club. There you see Miss Alabama Derby making the presentation to the owners Wendover Stable of Lost Code. We're going to take now a complete look at the order of finish. 1 through 12 is Lost Code. His job is done. He heads back to get maybe an extra share of votes. His owners, of course, are going to cash that first place check of $210,000. Here it is, the official order of finish, 1 through 12. Lost Code finished first, 151 and 3. Home Builder was second. Phantom Jet finished third. Fast Forward, the D. Wayne Lucas trained horse, was fourth. Rapid Ray was fifth. Mom's Ferrari was sixth. That's the first six. Now let's look at the seventh horse, Authentic Hero. General Silver was eighth. Arab Speaker was ninth. Passing Ships finished 10th. It was the Real Truth 11th. And, oh, my gosh, our Budweiser long shot, we've been crushed today. Finished 12th and last. No Bud for Fast Delivery. Looking at the board here and just a quick rundown of some of the fractions here for the race. They really moved it on in the first quarter here at 23 and 1, 47 and 1 for the half, 111 and 2 for the three-quarter. The mile in 137 and 4. They finished up in just under 14 seconds at 151 and 3 for the mile and an eighth. As you take a look at this. Lost Code, by the way, is not a Triple Crown nominee. So you should know that right away. So they'll be making other plans for Lost Code. He certainly will not be heading to Louisville in the Kentucky Derby. Again, he is not a Triple Crown nominee. But that doesn't make any difference to the folks here in Alabama. Their local horse won their Derby today. And to talk to the winning rider, let's go to Dave Johnson.
The first time I interviewed this young man is when he won the Demoiselle Stakes at Aqueduct in the early 70s. Here he is, still a young guy and a winner of the Alabama Derby. How do you feel, Gene?
I feel pretty good, Dave. I really do.
Talk us through the stretch drive and tell us about your colt.
Well, this colt here, Lost Code, he's a real nice colt. He's very intelligent. He does all the right things. And when he turned for home here, he was in the position that he was in the Hoop Junior about 2 weeks ago. And I went to my left hand just like I did last week. I didn't want to change a thing. And I just kept after him, and he kept running. He had that second horse measured pretty well. And I'll tell you, just I knew right here that I knew he was going to win right here, you know. And I really feel that he's got a lot of courage, and I'm just so happy. I was really happy.
Gene, you got the track record for mile and a 16th, now mile and an eighth. I mean, you're going to have everybody, every track record.
Well, I'm doing the best I can.
Okay, congratulations. Leading rider of the current meet, winner of the Alabama Derby, Gene St. Leon.
Well, this is the happy team who's just upset the whole Alabama Derby. You met Bill Donovan already. This is Donna, the handicapper, who picks the horse, and this is Donald Levinson, the owner. I have to ask you all, though, I don't mean to bring up a sad subject, but why wasn't he nominated?
For the Triple Crown, you mean, Chelsea? Well, because at that time, Chelsea, he really hadn't shown us much. And it was too late tonight. This horse just came into his own 2 weeks ago. And we had no idea he was this kind of colt, you know. Absolutely no idea.
Well, you do now. He ran a smashing race. Obviously, you weren't too surprised.
No, I was happy. I really thought he would run well.
Indeed, he did. Congratulations to you. This must be a big
Thank you
thrill.
very much.
Good.
I'm so glad to be here in the great state of Alabama, and all the credit goes to my trainer.
Well,
He
a
did
grand job of
wonderful
all of
job
you.
with this horse.
Good. Congratulations to
Thank
you
you,
all.
Chelsea.
And we'll be seeing you somewhere down the trail, I hope.
sure hope so.
Chris, back to you.
Thank you, Chelsea. So today, Lost Code wins the first Alabama Derby. What's down the road for this 3-year-old? Well, maybe it won't make that much difference to him, because today he has made history for all time, because he has won Alabama's first Derby here at the Birmingham Turf Club. Our congratulations to Lost Code and his connections. And next week, Budweiser Racing Across America goes to Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and the nation will see finally the future book favorite to win the 113th Kentucky Derby. Demons Be Gone will be unleashed in the Arkansas Derby. We'll be there to cover it live for you, 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern, here on ESPN. Hope you'll join us then as Budweiser Racing Across America covers the major Derby preps. The Alabama Derby of '87 has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, this Bud's for you. By the Thoroughbred Racing Association, assuring the highest racing standards. The newest member, the Birmingham Turf Club. By the Breeders' Cup, the richest day in sports. By Thistledown, in Ohio will win, place, and show you. And by ManaPro, the Cap Mana people. Lost Code makes history today in Alabama. He wins the first Alabama Derby. Race Budweiser Racing Across America is a presentation of ESPN Sports. We'll see you next week from Arkansas, the Derby there, and Demons Be Gone, the future favorite to win the Derby. So long from Alabama.